Joining me now, of course, is a man who needs no introduction, probably the most famous, visible face of Iran over the last 3 decades that people have encountered. Deputy Foreign Minister, Ambassador to the UN, now Vice President. Javad Zarif, pleasure to have you on.
Good to be with you.
Let me begin by telling you what it looks like to me right now in terms of Iran's position in the region. I think one could make an argument that Iran has never been in a weaker position. You made a huge bet on Assad in Syria, enormous amount of money, arms, militias. Assad is gone. Hezbollah, a key ally in Lebanon, has been decapitated, decimated in terms of its force. You have relations with Hamas. Hamas leadership has been destroyed. Its tunnel infrastructure has been destroyed. The whole idea of the axis of resistance, these militia groups, these sub-state actors that were going to push back against Israel, against the Gulf Arabs, perhaps American interests, it all seems to be much, much weaker than it was before. I'm sure you're going to disagree, so tell me why.
Well, first of all, let me make 2 points because we don't have much time. First point, in 1982, if you can remember, Sharon invaded Lebanon, pushed all the way into Beirut in order to basically decimate the Palestinian resistance. If you remember, he sent Arafat to exile, to Tunisia.
Tunis.
So what happened? From 1981 to 1987, Islamic Jihad was born in 81, Hezbollah was born in 82, and Hamas was born between 85 and 87. So I wouldn't suggest anybody to start rejoicing over destroying Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Palestinian resistance, or to cutting Iran's arms, because the resistance will stay as long as the occupation stays. I think right now, as you look at Gaza, Hamas is still there. Netanyahu did not achieve his goal of destroying Hamas. Hamas is still there. Israel had to come to a ceasefire, temporary. I hope it will be permanent, for the sake of 50,000 people who were massacred, genocide by Israel, so that there won't be another 50,000. But resistance is not dead. I can tell you that the wishes for the resistance to go away has been based on a misrepresentation, a framing by Israel, that this is not an Israeli-Palestinian issue, but an Israeli-Iranian issue. That's number one. Number two, go back to 1981-82 and move all the way to 2023, 2024. Give me a single instance when this resistance operated on Iranian behalf. They always worked for their own cause, even at our expense. They never carried our orders. We didn't know about October 7th. Actually, we were supposed to have a meeting with the Americans on JCPOA renewal on October 9th, which was undermined and destroyed by this operation.
But then it makes the case that this has been a very unwise investment for Iran to be funding all these militias which are not even doing Iran's interests.
Well, let's not talk about funding, because a lot of people are funding a lot of things and they're not successful. But let's focus on the fact that we have supported people's rights. People will continue to resist. Now, why am I making this statement? Because if you want to resolve the problem of Palestine, you should not look at Iran. You should look at the Palestinian issue. As long as the Palestinian issue is there, the struggle will be there, the resistance will be there, and there will be support from the international community, including from Arab allies of the United States.
I take your point, but if I may, with respect, you haven't answered my question, which is about Iran's position. You've lost a key ally in Assad, you've lost, or at least you have a much weaker ally in Hezbollah. Your air defenses have been destroyed. We have reports or you tell me if it's not true, we have reports of generals in Iran talking about the fact that they've paid a very heavy price for the support of Assad. Is it not true that you are in a much weaker position?
But let me make, again, a couple of points. We fought Iraq when we didn't have any air defense, when we didn't have any weapons. We didn't have anything. We stood against Iraq for 8 years, and we did not give up an inch of our territory. So, first of all, the story about destroying our air defense is a story, and there is a reason behind it.
You're saying it didn't happen?
No, we suffered, but it didn't mean that we lost our air defense. But I answered your question by saying that find me a single instance when these groups, which are, I think, erroneously called Iranian proxies, operated on our behalf. If they did not operate on our behalf, what do they do to our strength? Now, you can tell me that we worked on their behalf diplomatically and that gave us strength. But we never tried to cash our investment in the region. You now tell me that this was a foolish investment. I believe that you and I belong to a school of thought in social science which does not believe in only material power. We, both of us, believe in ideational power. The fact that Iran can, in fact, move people in the streets in many parts of the world gives us power, with or without Hezbollah.
But let me ask you about that.
We still possess that power. We can still move people, inspire people, as we did in the beginning of the revolution.